Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. We've had this discussion before. I don't want anybody to be triggered, so I'm going to say trigger warning, and I don't want anybody to get too deep in their feelings. Just come with your whole honesty. Okay, that's what I like to do. I like to lay it out on the table and be honest as possible. So I'm watching an article over here on Dancehall Mag. Big up to Dancehall Mag. You can find them anywhere on YouTube, or not YouTube but Google. Just type in Dancehall Mag and them have a whole heap of stuff over here. But one article caught my attention. Listen to this. Sean Paul's former manager, Sean Paul, give me the light, yeah, just give me the light and pass the Joe. Big international, global phenomenon, household name, Sean Paul. Not taking any of his credit away from him. Sean Paul's former manager, Jeremy Harding, has rubbished suggestions that the artist, Sean Paul, was able to surge ahead of Beenie Man internationally in the 2000s because foreign record labels favored Sean Paul more due to his light skin color. We're talking about Beenie Man. Simma, who got the keys to my bima? Okay. So, Harding, who produced Beenie Man's biggest solo hit, Who Am I? The Girls Them Sugar, on his Playground rhythm, declared that Beenie, the greatest dancehall artist of all time, but came out in full defense of Sean Paul during an Entertainment Report podcast interview in which host Muscle asked if there were any reasons why Sean Paul got to break over Beenie Man at the time, right? Remember, back in the day, Beenie Man was doing music with Janet Jackson, the great Janet Jackson, among many other big name people. And to this day, if you're in a dance in the US and you hear that rhythm come on, oh, nah. Once you hear that, everybody is running to the floor. I don't care where they're from. Those who don't speak English, those who do speak English, black. Alright, my SouFLoTV audience, let's take a break from our scheduled program and let's get right into this. I've been wondering for the longest, why has Jamaica not gone totally solar yet? After all, Jamaica has powerful sunshine all year round. And people are in darkness in certain areas, especially in rural areas. And they've been that way for decades, waiting on government to install street lights. Well, Soninka solar lights. These are commercial grade lights, perfect for rural areas, perfect for dark corners and lanes, perfect for the backyard, the front yard, down the road, driveway lighting, stores, perfect for the farm, waterproof and remote control. Make your surroundings safer. Jamaica has sun all year round, and you will have no problem keeping these lights charged. Did I mention that they are commercial grade and they are remote controlled? You don't have to wait on government to install lights. Some people in some areas have been waiting for decades, literally decades, and they are still in the darkness. These are easy to install. Get in touch with Soninka and they will do the rest for you. And the best part is this. You don't have to pay a monthly light bill. No, this not gonna bother you like a JPS bill because it's charged by the sun. So take yourself out of the darkness now. Increase your safety now. Get in touch with Soninka Solar and thank me later. Come on, man. Watch there. All the contact information is right there for you. IG, email, phone number, which you can call by WhatsApp, which is free globally. Go on. Get yourself out of the darkness and into the light. Back to our regular scheduled program at hand. white, Chinese, everybody in there, that's the time to grab your drink, run to the floor, or put on your drinks, run to the floor. Simma, who got the keys to my bima? Big thing. Seeing just that one song alone, and Beenie had other songs that were mashing up the place. Back then, he was a phenomenon, right? Something huge and set to go global and become household like a Sean Paul. But then in came Sean Paul, which many said was more crossover looking and more marketable to Americans and others. Keep on listening. So Muscle explained that he had heard Beenie in an interview pointing out that after the strength of Who Am I, it seemed like it was supposed to really get that international super break, but it's like after a while, Sean Paul got the break instead. Harding, however, said that the way the two artists' career turned out, it all boiled down to proper management on Sean Paul's part and a lack thereof in the Beenie Man case. Yeah, pay attention. He said, quote unquote, I can just put it down to better management. I don't know what else to tell you. What else would I be able to say about it? Beenie Man got himself embroiled in controversy with the gay bashing lyrics and all that. He put himself on that list as well. And then he had to, apologize. The apology letter. Was it GLAAD, GLAAD, or something like that? The gay community that was trying to lock down his shows. Yeah, he had to come and apologize to them and get back visa and all that. And all those things start to happen for Beenie Man, Harding stated, whereas Sean Paul never got embroiled in any of that stuff. I think by the time he got like King of Dancehall, which is the album, one of those records that he did, by the time MTV and BET were snubbing him, and he was getting a lot of pressure from international rights activist groups to change his stance on the LGBTQ community. That hampered his success tremendously. That was also happening at the time. Oh yeah. So yeah, a victim of circumstances, perhaps. With that, the H2 hard producer, the 2 hard producer added, not H2. Okay. Now, while lauding Beenie Man's Billboard success with Who Am I, all of us still think the name of the song is Sim Simma. While lauding Beenie Man's success with Who Am I, Harding also said that the song served to cement his place in dancehall as a revered producer for him himself who produced it. It was his rhythm. Yo, big up to Beenie, and all. Love to Beenie Man. I mean, he made me just as much as I helped that record in his career. Harding doubled down on the fact that record labels' primary focus is on song quality and sales potential, and not the skin color of the artist, pointing out that Beanie's trouble at the time were totally the fault of his management, as several other very poor decisions were made by him. I think that's what was taking place with him at the time. That hampered his progress, and just managerial choices. Doing the song with Janet Jackson, and he decided to sing in that song instead of DJing, like weird things like that, which he was doing. They wanted to hear him DJ in the song with Janet Jackson, not sing. I don't know what else to put it down to. I know where this is leading to. This question. Cause Sean Paul was the brown uptown guy, and that's why he got the effing break, which is nonsense, because record companies don't work that way. Record companies in New York don't work that way. They're not in this air of shadism like Jamaicans, bro. It's absolute stupidity. What are you talking about? He added. Now continued, Harding. They have R&B artists and rappers that are signed to labels that are black like a effing tar. What difference it make? There's no brown person thing in a record label that makes the brown people better or the light-skinned people the better. All that's garbage. Working with the urban music department, and there are black people. They're from down south, from the States. There are black people signed to the label. They have black artists, black rappers. There's nothing that says, oh, well, you're a brown and so you're going to get more of the push. All that is stupidness, bro. Now, according to Harding, skin color is not a factor for Jamaican music, which is still classified as urban music, which is code for black music. Plus, Sean Paul, in his ascension to global stardom, he had scored hits such as Get Busy and Temperature and Baby Boy with Beyonce, as well as those huge collabs with megastars. So, no matter whether you're brown, Asian, red, green, effing purple, or anything, as long as you're doing dancehall or reggae, bro, and you drop into a US radio station or a US record company, you're black music. So, there's no segment for the browner guys to be better. Off is what I'm trying to explain too. All that's silly. There's tons of black R&B and rappers like Biggie Smalls, big, fat, ugly, black guy, effing multi-millionaire. What are you talking about? So what does that stop any Jamaican artist because of their skin color? Your blackness? It's stupidness. Boy, him go on with a tangent, man. Him just go on and on and on, and him not really hit the nail on the head yet, but I, SouFlo, I'm going to hit the nail on the head for you. Stay tuned. He added, let me finish this up. He added, it's upsetting when I hear people talk about it, and I'm not saying that what Beenie Man is saying, but them type of comments kind of lead to that speculation of, wonder why Sean got bigger over all the fact that Sean Bonafide had 3 #1 records on Billboard. That's not because of being brown. It's the song that you're making. It's the records. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's why it is bigger than people. That's sole reason why. It's just songs. So let's just debunk that right here, bro. Harding said that Jamaican artists would refrain from using skin color as an excuse for their lack of success and instead figure out what records work in the international market and go make those records, as Sean Paul and Shaggy have done. It's just an excuse. It's something to hide behind. Go make better records. That's what you need to do. And stop trying to say that it's because of skin color you can't get to work, because that's nonsense. Then, Sean Paul and Shaggy, they have hits. Shaggy have monster hit records. What are you talking about? #1 record smashed, tear up the world, sell freaking diamond. That's why. It's not skin color, it's the size of a record. Go make some monster records, bro. Stop talking about skin color. It's a hindrance, if anything else, bro, he added. Okay. Now, time for me, SouFLoTV, to put in my 2 cents into this argument. I'm getting to realize that the more I speak truth and the more my platform grows, that a lot of people are not liking me. And they're not liking me because, no, I'm not an ass kisser. And no, I'm never going to be shady and try to bite up my tongue when the truth is there to be spoken. Let me tell you something, right? He had one point that he was correct with. And that one point is this. Beenie Man did get caught up in the whole Batman, gay man, LGBTQ issues that started to arise, and the activists them started to bun them out and started wanting Jamaican artists who had this kind of music to not perform anymore, right? Until they changed the lyrics, stopped doing those songs, and apologized. And guess what? Others were caught up in it too, like the famous Boom Bye Bye from none other than Buju Banton himself, among others, right? But here's the thing. After that phase, and before that phase, he's saying it's the songs. Go and make good songs. But all these guys were making good songs. And all their songs were burning up the charts before all these other things started happening, right? Behind the scenes. Now, once these other things started happening, of course, Sean Paul music was neutral. He didn't speak any, he didn't do songs that were on that wavelength, and he wasn't leaning so much towards one or the other side. He just kept it straight down the middle. It was about partying, it was about feel good, it was about entertainment. And because of that, and yes, he is very talented. Sean Paul is him lyrically mad, wicked, bad. Can't take away none of that from him. Uptown, downtown, round a town, side town. Sean Paul is just a dangerously bad lyricist, period. And he puts a lot of, how should I say it? He puts a lot of work into perfecting his craft, into perfecting, and he doesn't just put anything on the rhythm. I'm sure even though he comes from Uptown, Sean Paul have or know of some real gunman and some real bad man. And as a Jamaican himself, I'm sure he has witnessed violence at some point or another. So he could have vicariously like put all that in his music and lived through his lyrics and become one of the artists. That's another thing that hampers is this whole gun thing. This is why Afrobeats, if they keep on comparing, even though I don't, because I believe that Afrobeats has its own lane, but even if we should compare the two and the rise of Afrobeats and the ascension and the explosion of Afrobeats compared to dancehall, dancehall seems to be a bit stagnant where it's at because, matter of fact, not even stagnant. The best era of dancehall so far has gone by. We still cannot replicate the powers of what dancehall from the 90s did, right? And it's because we changed up a lot of things. We didn't stick to the formula. We changed it. The new generation wants to do trap dancehall more than regular dancehall. We switched our dancehall beat, that rhythm, that heartbeat rhythm, you know, and the artists that are sticking to it, we call them all artists, and we gravitate to what is new and hype, even though it's not a representative of what we had before. You understand? So here we are in a quagmire with all that. Now, as far as skin color goes in this business, y'all can deny it all you want to, but it is factual. I remember when the greatest tennis player in the world, female, and we're talking about Serena Williams. I remember when Serena Williams was winning everything in the book. And there was that, I don't remember if she's Russian or German, one of those female tennis players who eventually, later years, got found out to be on dope. And she was suspended for quite some time. But she had all the big endorsements. Nike endorsed her. Hundreds of millions of dollars of endorsements. She made way more in endorsements than she did playing tennis. And everybody was saying, well, how come Serena is not? And Serena is a way better tennis player than she is. And I remember an executive who wanted to remain anonymous said, it's about marketing. And simply put, that white female tennis player is more marketable globally than Serena Williams is. She's moving skincare products. She's doing modeling. She's doing all these other things, ad campaigns or whatever. And they don't see Serena being able to do all that, right? And it wasn't until that female tennis player fell out of tennis by her own doings that everybody came running to Serena, because lucky for Serena, Serena kept winning. So she, over time, proved that she was the one that was here to stay and deserving of all that was coming her way. But for a very long time, everybody wondered, how come she's not getting all that, right? Right now, there's a female boxer who just turned martial artist as well. She's whipping everybody's ass up and down the ladder. She's only 25 years old. I can't remember her name right now, but go look her up. World champion boxer who is 25 years old, a black female. She's not on any morning shows. She's not on any ads. She's not getting any big endorsement. You don't see her in the huge commercials. She is not at Super Bowl halftime. None of that. Because she's a dark-skinned black woman. She's very pretty, but she is still not the quintessential, the go-to look, the crossover look. You must understand that when you're selling your product, you're selling your product to a global market. And on the global market, they think of many things, including who is going to pay money for this. Might we be turning them off with this? So if you put a dark skinned guy like Beenie Man face on a product and drop it in the Latin market, let's be honest, we know how they view blacks. And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying there's an undercurrent within the culture that that black face on that product could be a turnoff for them, right? Whereas if you put Sean Paul on the same product, Sean Paul's face says that's one of us. They will actually think he is one of them until they hear him speak. Then they'll realize, oh, he's not from here. You understand what I'm saying? He is crossover. His look is global, as in a crossover look. He can appeal to people of color, as well as he can appeal to brown, white, black, however you want to name it or call it. So yes, he was more marketable. Now, we're not taking away from his talent. He had the talent to back it up. But had he been a dark-skinned dude like Beenie Man, he probably would have been in the same boat like Beenie Man, right? He had everything in line that they were looking for, and that was what was pushing him to the forefront. You don't believe me? Listen, the last guy that made it out of our music and made it huge was the emperor himself. We're talking about Shabba Ranks. Shabba Ranks picked up his Grammy. I know somebody is punching air right now because they're trying to disprove what I'm saying. Shabba Ranks, oh, big dirty stinking Shabba. That's what Shabba had to call himself, and he did. A lot of people were calling Shabba Ranks ugly. I was growing up back then. A lot of people were calling Shabba Ranks ugly, right? Big, and Shabba took it. It's like calling a fat kid fat every day. Guess what the fat kid does? Start deflecting. Okay, I know I'm fat. You can't hurt my feelings. So I'll make all the fat jokes and you laugh. Now what are you gonna say? He kind of takes the power away from you, calling him fat. He calls himself fat. So Shabba heard all those people calling him ugly, right? You ugly like Shabba Ranks. That's what we used to say growing up. I used to hear even Americans saying it to each other, like when they were roasting, you black and ugly like Shabba Ranks. So Shabba came out saying, big dirty stinking Shabba. Same thing for Biggie Smalls. Black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Gucci down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocking your Mitsubishi. That's Biggie, because they were calling Biggie big, black, and ugly. And Biggie had to put it in a record, become that fat kid, call himself fat, take the power away from you, and started saying big, black, and ugly as ever. However, I say stay Gucci down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. By the way, back then it was Gucci, not Gucci, right? Anyhow, back to the topic. So, if you're asking me if Sean Paul's skin color had something to do with it, look at the market today. Look at the people who this producer pointed out that went global, as he calls it. Shaggy. Shaggy is light-skinned with curly hair, looks biracial. Sean Paul. Sean Paul definitely fits in as Enriquez or Julio or one of those types of people. He looks more Hispanic than anything, and his real name is. So that tells me that that's his roots, right? Look at the females that are burning up the charts today. Look across the board, not just in dancehall. If you can point out one dark-skinned female that is burning up the boards today in music and entertainment, and black music in particular, right, that has gone global, that's dark-skinned, I'll pay you some money. Because there's none. Nicki Minaj, light-skinned, looks biracial, right? Minaj, she looks like a cross between Indian and black. correct? Right. She's from Trinidad, looks a cross between Indian and black. Then you have, and many will argue that Nicki bleaches her skin constantly to appear even lighter. And then when they put her on magazine covers and whatnot, you know, they bleach the cover skin edit to make her even lighter. Look at the young lady that just came out and Nicki co-signed her, Ice Spice. Go look at her. Look these names up, I'm telling you, right? So everybody you're looking at. Look, Shenseea. When Shenseea came in the game, I said it before. I said Shenseea is probably going to be the first dance hall female to get a Grammy under a dance hall banner. Everybody said, over Spice? I said, yes. Yes, over Spice. Because she has the international crossover appeal. Look at one of the baddest producers in dancehall music. Vybz Kartel, good friend. Hey, Russian! You see how Russian looks? Okay, and you see what market Russian has been able to conquer with his production outside of dancehall. We're talking about the Latin market, because if you drop Russian in a room with them, he looks just like them, and it's probably the hugest market globally for music, and he was able to tap into that. There are other bad dancehall producers out there, but them just too black and too raga, and some man don't feel comfortable working with them. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, but I could call names all day and I could compare all day, and the fact is, skin color did play a part, like it or not. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Big up to Sean Paul, still an icon, still a very great representative of our culture. Sean Paul has never had himself embroiled in any nasty, dirty scandal that would make us feel ashamed as a people, and I applaud him for that, right? And Beanie's been around from before me born, and I applaud him for that too. Manners and respect to each and every one of you. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's SouFLoTV, reasoning with intelligence. I'm out. Peace. I've been wondering for the longest, why has Jamaica not gone totally solar yet? After all, Jamaica has powerful sunshine all year round, and people are in darkness in certain areas, especially in rural areas, and they've been that way for decades, waiting on government to install street lights. Well, Soninka solar lights. These are commercial grade lights, perfect for rural areas, perfect for dark corners and lanes, perfect for the backyard, the front yard, down the road, driveway lighting, stores, perfect for the farm, waterproof and remote control. Make your surroundings safer. Jamaica has sun all year round, and you will have no problem keeping these lights charged. Did I mention that they are commercial grade and they are remote controlled? You don't have to wait on government to install lights. Some people in some areas have been waiting for decades, literally decades, and they are still in the darkness. These are easy to install. Get in touch with Soninka and they will do the rest for you. And the best part is this: you don't have to pay a monthly light bill. No, this not gonna bother you like a JPS bill, because it's charged by the sun. So take yourself out of the darkness now. Increase your safety now. Get in touch with Soninka Solar and thank me later. Come on, man. Watch there. All the contact information is right there for you. IG, email, phone number, which you can call by WhatsApp, which is free globally. Go on. Get yourself out of the darkness and into the light.